Hello Nation, and welcome back to the homestead. And today we are going to be doing an upgrade on our self-watering containers. But before we start on the water itself, I want to talk about the plastic bottle. There are over 400 million tons of plastic produced each year. And of that, 14 million tons end up in the ocean. 80% of your marine debris is plastic. There is something called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is double the size of Texas. It takes you about 14 hours to travel from one side of Texas to the other. It would take you 28 hours to travel from one side to the other. That's disgusting. Let's just be honest, that's disgusting. So today we're going to show you how to reduce your waste and produce some more food. So the items that you're going to need to make this are paracord, obviously a plastic bottle with a cap, some twine, some yarn, a box cutter, some scissors, and something that you can use to poke a hole. So the first thing that, we've already done is we've poked a hole in the cap. So the next thing we're going to do is make a small cut in the bottle itself. I like to use a box cutter, and I like to go just a little bit above where this label lip is here. And then I'm going to take the scissors and just chop around. So once we have these taken apart, we're going to do the yarn real quick. You want to get a nice portion of yarn. I like to do almost this much of yarn, probably from my wrist to my shoulder. That may seem like a lot, but we can always trim it if it's too much. Then we're going to feed this down the hole of the bottle top. Feed this through. And then you're going to want to place this inside here so that when we put the plant in there, this will have to feed up through the dirt. Then you're going to want to make just a simple overhand knot. So this is going to stop it from moving when we're working. Then we're going to fit this snugly inside of the bottom. This is just going to help hold the bottle itself while we're making the holes. Now, I have this hurricane lamp that I'm going to be using to heat this skewer. Literally anything else will work. But do you think I should take this off? Mm-hmm. Okay. But I'm just going to kind of be careful. And this is hot. There you go. And take the top off. And just heat the skewer. Okay, so now that this is heated up, we're going to go along the line-ish. And just make sure you go through both of them. You don't want a lot. You only want maybe 4 or 5 holes around the bottle itself, because you don't want to tire yourself out from tying. And so now that we got the holes poked, now it's time for our tying part of the whole situation. So we're going to have, what I like to do is I like to do about from the tip of my middle finger almost to my wrist. And cut. And once you have your first line, you can just match it to the twine itself and make 5 identical pieces of twine. I'm making 5 because I have 5 holes. You want to try and get them as close as possible. And if you find that these are too long, then we can always trim them at the end. So to start the tying process off, we're going to do what's called a figure 8 knot. And this is going to go on the inside just so that you can have enough room with your hands to tie the figure 8 knot and then feed it through so the knot's on the inside. So to do the figure 8 knot, you're going to want to loop, twist, and then pull. It should look like that. Then to make this one just a little bit wider, I'm just going to do an overhand knot. Pull it a bit tight, and then feed it through, and then do the figure 8 knot again on the other side. Loop, twist, feed through, and pull. And then an overhand knot. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of a tail here, so I'm just gonna trim that off. Now we're going to do this 5 more times, and we'll be back. Okay, now that we got the last knot tied, we're just going to make sure everything's just about even. And we've got 2 more holes to poke. And then we're going to poke 2 holes on the top for the paracord to go into. Now for your paracord, you're probably going to want however much you want, I guess. Just kind of eye it from either hole. This looks good for me. Then feed it through. And then do a figure 8 knot from the outside of it. Pull it through. So we're just going to feed this through. And then another figure 8 knot. Pull it tight. And then boom. Now we're just going to fill this with dirt and put the plant that we want in here. Now as you're filling this, you're going to want to keep the string taut. That's why we tied the yarn at the cap so that you didn't pull it through. And the plant we're going to be putting in here is a lettuce. This is just your regular lettuce from the store. You cut where you're going to have and then trim. Take these little trimmings off the bottom here, and it'll reveal some sprouts. We're just going to stick it down in here in the dirt. Planted, pull the string taut, and then we're just going to trim the excess. And then boom. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put water in the bottom, and the yarn will absorb the water, and it'll feed it all the way up through here. So if you like this video but you want a simpler way of doing this, why don't you check out this video on how to make a self-watering container out of plastic bottles. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless, and have a nice day.